The past weekend is a long weekend in the US, so I shut down the power for my lab environment. Today, when I reconnect the power, log on to the cloud key for my UXG router environment, I see this situation. The cloud key is showing green color, but the router, the UXG Pro, is showing yellow, and all other devices are just grayed out. See the link? Click to resolve, right? For IP address, it's a localhost IP address. It doesn't make any sense. And for the cloud key, it doesn't show the IP address. A lot of confusing information. Then if I try to click the link to resolve it, see the error is connection interrupted. It does find the UXG Pro. It even has the correct IP address, but it's just lost the connectivity. So let me try to click the advanced adoption. Okay, then adopt device. It did try to connect. The only thing changed is the IP address. Now it is the correct IP address, but the symptom remains. I still have the connection interrupted issue, and all other devices are still grayed out. Someone may ask, if the environment doesn't work, how you can even use the UniFi network controller, right? You can understand by checking this URL here. So I'm using the remote connection feature for the UniFi router. So basically I'm connecting to Ubiquiti's website, and then it remotely accessed the one part of the router, which means the whole routing internet access still works, and the cloud key has no any problem. The fact that the SSH even works, that means all the switches also work. Because just from this UI, I'm already sure from the cloud key, I can connect to the router without any problem. So I assume the root cause is in the router side, so the router cannot talk to the cloud key. Let me try to SSH into the router. I can log in without any problem. Then let me see what's the ARP information for the cloud key. I'm trying to understand whether the router can even talk back to the cloud key, right? So let me display the ARP table. Okay, this is the cloud key. This entry is for the host name of the cloud key. As you can see, it does have the MAC address, so that means the communication directly to the host has no issue. And the other one, even though it has the different domain name, just by checking the part before the dot, UniFi, you may already know it is the hard-coded domain name for the cloud key. The ARP table shows incomplete. You may know internally UniFi devices use the hard-coded UniFi domain name to talk to the UniFi network controller. No wonder why the communication is interrupted, right? If I try to ping UniFi, it cannot be reached, right, as expected. And here you can see the IP address used is .1.166. However, if I check the small screen on the cloud key, I see a different IP address. It's .1.232. I do trust the display on the cloud key. Then why inside the UniFi router it has the wrong IP address for the cloud key? Let me dig deeper. So in the SSH session, let me go to the folder for DNS mask configuration and run DNS mask config D. So this DNS config file is the one I want to display. See, in the end, it recorded the cloud keys domain name and IP address mappings for different VLANs. All of them are wrong, so they are all showing .1.166. I have a theory to explain why the difference between the real IP address and the one recorded in the router, because in the past 3 days, I didn't power on the lab environment. So once the cloud key was powered on earlier today, it need to refresh the DHCP. The DHCP server inside UX3 Pro allocated a different IP address to the cloud key, which caused the problem because the router doesn't know the new request from cloud key is from the cloud key. On one hand, it has the wrong mapping inside the configuration file. On the other hand, it allocates a new IP address once the cloud key requested one. In my opinion, the advanced adoption setting should have corrected the issue, but for some reason, maybe Ubiquiti need to improve the logics in the so-called advanced adoption. But anyway, it didn't correct the inconsistency, so the issue still remains, right? So now let's discuss how we can resolve it. I already know the cause for the issue. Apparently in the UniFi router, it has the wrong IP address for the cloud key. And unfortunately, it's recorded in the DNS mask configuration file. It won't dynamically refresh. There may be multiple solutions. For example, the easiest way, because all the UniFi network configurations are recorded in the cloud key. So as long as I reset the router to factory default, it can be easily re-adopted, and then all the configurations will be synced, right? But it may take some time, and I really don't like to reset a device to factory default if I don't have to. Another way I can think of to correct the issue is the wrong mapping between the domain name and IP address is recorded in this DNS mask configuration file. So I can manually change the file and then reboot the router. Hopefully it can resolve the issue, right? But it still sounds a little bit time consuming. So let me try a shortcut. Let's see whether the issue can be resolved. You may know there's a way especially useful in the layer 3 adoption for UniFi devices. So you can go to the device itself, use this command to notify the cloud key that now you have a new device to adopt, right? Let me see whether I can use this way to notify the cloud key, but apparently if I keep the command in this way, it won't work because it uses UniFi in the domain name. We just knew from the configuration file the mapping is wrong, right? So let me manually change the UniFi to the correct IP address. Okay, so this is the IP address I just found from the LCD screen on the cloud key hardware. So let me try it. Okay, it immediately resolved the issue. See the UniFi network controller, it's refreshed and the UX3 Pro is showing green color. Give it some time, the switch will also become green. Now let me display the DNS config file one more time. See, all the IP addresses for the cloud key have been corrected. So apparently the setinform command I executed corrected the issue. So after that simple manual command in the SSH session into the UX3 Pro, the issue has been resolved. So then let's talk about the lessons learned. We all know if you want to have a stabilized environment, you'd better have the crucial devices, IP addresses fixed. This is my lab environment. It's only temporary, so I didn't bother fixing the IP address for cloud key, which caused this problem. Okay, just a short video. I want to share my interesting experience after the long weekend. Thanks for watching.